All right. So we have now arrived at Vancouver. How do I put this? Jim Benning today, or Vancouver, whoever in Vancouver, I'm guessing is Benning, stated after the draft they will reach out to Milan Lucic. It's also been confirmed that the Montreal Canadiens are listening to offers on PK Subban before his no trade clause kicks in. If the Canucks found a deal that Montreal liked for PK Subban and then signed Milan Lucic in the offseason, I don't know how I feel about that. I love PK Subban. I do. I think that he would be immediately the defenseman that the Canucks haven't had ever. He's the top two guy. He is a player that when he's at his best can be in the Norris Trophy hunt. And he's pretty damn fantastic when he's on his game. But Luch, I would have to cheer for him in the beginning because after all he is a Canuck if he comes here. It's a tough call. It is a very, very tough call. I'm not working on rosters and stuff because Vancouver is so bewildering right now. But their blue line is so weak. It's really weak. Adding Goodbranson, it improves it, yes. I thought they paid a lot to get Goodbranson, considering his progression and stuff, but I'm not getting into that. There's a bunch of people who will pounce all over me for saying anything bad about Goodbranson. But if they added Goodbranson and Subban, you got to think that in order to get Subban, the first round draft pick's gone. So draft day becomes nothing. I would imagine Montreal would take Tanev back. Tanev's the kind of guy that Montreal would want. So that would leave Subban, Hutton, Goodbranson, Edler as your top four. That's not bad. It's a dramatic improvement. I don't know. I don't know that I would have Vancouver in the playoffs by adding Lucic and Subban. But I'll tell you what it would do. Sell season tickets. The Aquilinis know Vancouver's a fickle market. They also know the Sedins are winding down. So they need somebody else to market. Subban's in his prime. Lucic is in his prime, technically, by his age. But in terms of what Vancouver has, what Vancouver needs, yeah. I mean, maybe Virtanen has to go for Subban. Maybe they'll want Virtanen. It's going to be expensive because the Oilers are making offers for Subban as well. And I imagine there's a bunch of other teams as well. I would think at least a dozen. So we'll see how it shakes out. I guess we'll know probably by Saturday whether or not Subban will be playing in Montreal or playing somewhere else. Luch, it'll be probably July 1st. But Benning has been apparently determined to get Lucic for the last couple of days or a couple of years. And I mean, he's a yeah. Ugh, what a day! Just to see that headline, it just I'm torn because the PK headline is fantastic. PK Subban's awesome. Just the thought of him and his brother playing together, even if it's just in the preseason, it would look awesome. And then if Malcolm were available from Boston, I'm just saying. Where the Canucks are in the standings is probably worse than what they would have been if Brandon Sutter had been healthy all year, if their blue line had been healthy all year. But I don't think it's by much. I don't think under any circumstance was this going to be a playoff team in 15-16. So I don't know with next year. PK makes it a huge improvement, and losing PK, I don't understand why Montreal would do it. I don't. I really don't. It seems to me like it's a knee-jerk reaction to him having a poor season. And if he ends up on one of my favorite teams, awesome, because I think he's one of the best defensemen in the league. I'll take him in Vancouver, and I would watch every Canucks game from start to finish with PK in the lineup. Maybe they look and they say Subban and Goodbranson together. Any fan of analytics would their brain would explode at the idea of them being together. But for hockey purists, I guess, or the old type, it would be okay. Here's your offensive guy in Subban, and here's your defensive defenseman in Goodbranson. Perfect. Maybe. I would think Subban and Tanev would be a better duo, but that's me. I've also heard it said the last of the Canucks' problems is goaltending. I agree in theory, although in terms of there's a lot of prospects, and I don't know that Ryan Miller is going to have a bounce back year. He wasn't bad last year. Miller and Markstrom were okay. But in order for the Canucks to make that next step, you have to be better than okay. And they have to aim for better than okay. So I guess we'll see what happens. But it's going to be a long off season, and it's impossible to project. Like, I don't understand. Are they rebuilding or are they not? Like, if let's say Montreal gets that draft pick and they draft Dubois, wow, that kid is the first line center we needed. What if he's putting up 80, 85 points a year for Montreal? And we don't have a center with that kind of potential. And I know Dubois is not playing center right now. I don't know. I mean, Benning said he wanted more draft picks. I mean, I had acknowledged that the idea of Montreal and Vancouver swapping picks wasn't a bad idea. But clearly, if Subban is in the mix, you're giving them the number 5 pick, which gives Montreal 2 picks in the top 10. Oh, God, this just gets worse. This just gets worse. Unless you're a Montreal fan, you're losing that, 11 million, 12 million, 18, 30, 40, 50 million. It's got to feel like that in terms of cap space. You're losing this huge cap hit. in Subban, and you're getting back 2 top 10 draft picks. I mean, the one you already had, and then a second, which is number 5 from Vancouver. And like I said, you're probably getting Tanev back as well. To me, Tanev is the only Canucks defenseman who has market value. Edler doesn't have any. Hutton's only got 1 year. Triamkin, well, you're not going to trade him either. He's not going to have a lot of market value. And you just got Goodbranson. You're not trading him. So it leaves Tanev. I just... I want to be the optimist. I want to be that Canuck fan that goes, welcome to the team. Whoever gets here and whoever makes it. I want to be that Canucks fan that just is excited no matter what. But there's that voice in my head saying this could potentially be short-term gain and long-term pain, tremendous pain. This isn't supposed to be a bad draft. This is supposed to be a good draft. Your top 3 are fantastic. That's why when there was a rumor the Canucks were looking at trading up to number 3, I was very happy. Although rumor has it now that Columbus is looking at trading to get number 2 or number 1. If Toronto trades number 1, they're insane. Yeah, they'd be completely insane. For Winnipeg to trade number 2, less insane, but close. It's at least close. It's in the same neighborhood. So I don't know. The Canucks are an odd team, and I can't figure out Benning. This is how my video turns when I'm trying to figure out what Benning's idea is here. They don't have a lot of prospects right now. They've traded them. They've traded them for older players, which is what you do when you think you're close to being a contender, and the Canucks aren't right now. Oh, Subban would be a game changer potentially. Yeah, Subban could potentially really be a game changer. But what do you throw at him? Like, what do you throw at him? Montreal needs a lot. I still don't understand that. Montreal being willing to trade Subban, and Vancouver thinking, hey, we can make that trade. Edmonton makes total sense. Edmonton has a number of star players. Nugent Hopkins stands out right away because he's a center. And the idea of you having Galchenyuk, Nugent Hopkins, and then Desjardins doesn't have to be anywhere near your top 6. Montreal is in pretty damn good shape then. I want to have this tremendous deep discussion, but just these 2 rumors today have just made my brain kind of... I'm even going to go reload the TSN page just to make sure nothing's happened. They're talking about the Lightning re-signing Stamkos. I think they will. I don't know. There's just something in the fact that they haven't traded the rights to Stamkos. And you would think they'd do that before the draft. Because it's usually draft picks you're getting back, right? So maybe Tampa wants him back. Wow. Montreal could be ready to trade Subban. And there's Could Subban be sent to Edmonton? And then they mentioned Vancouver in that article as well. I don't understand. I don't understand because in a full rebuild, you don't mortgage your future. So the Canucks aren't admitting they're in a rebuild. If they add Subban and Lucic, management is officially in denial. They are officially going to come out and say, we believe this team can win, and we can win now. We're good. We're set. The fact that Higgins, Burrows, the Sedins are all on the downside, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The fact that the Canucks have so many players that either aren't ready yet for a major role or it's tough because they're on the downside. I mean, who do Lucic and Subban play with in say 2 to 3 years? I know Benning thinks he's a wizard, but his trades are a mixed bag at best. Brandon Sutter being an obvious example here. I mean, the guy only played 20 games, but his first game they played him on the wing with the Sedins. Brandon Sutter's a center. He's a checking center. And immediately the Canucks were like, we envision him as a top 6 player. They envisioned him as a goal scorer. And a 50, 60 point type player is the way they described it. He's our second line center. Well, that's normally you want 50 or 60 points from your second line center. The problem is Sutter's never shown in the NHL that he can score at that rate. Even when he was drafted, he didn't project that high. So either Benning scouts these guys and is a genius, or he's overvaluing players, which I think is why Luch is out there. Now, consider this. Rumor had it that the Kings were willing to go up to $6 million a year, and Luch said no. Even though he desperately, at one point, stated he wanted to spend the rest of his career in LA. How much money is it going to take to bring Lucic to Vancouver? $7 million? He's not worth $7 million. He is not worth $7 million. Luch, $5 million's fine. He's not going to take $5 million. The bidding war alone will get it way past $5 million. $6 million is a starting point. The Canucks are going to be right up to the cap again and potentially out of the playoffs again. Because a Subban trade and Lucic signing mean cap space is gone immediately. It's just vaporized. Gone. So I don't know. I welcome anybody else's thoughts on the matter. I've watched enough PK Subban games to know that I like his game. I think he's a good player. I think he takes a lot more BS than he should. The problem is if he comes to Vancouver, he'll take just as much as he gets in Montreal. Because Vancouver fans are just as hard on their players. The difference is Vancouver fans are hard on their goalies, whereas Montreal fans are hard on everybody. So I guess we'll see if that helps. Anyways, I'm very aware that with where we are, why can't they just rebuild? Just rebuild. Just go through a rebuild. Stockpile draft picks. pick up some guys who can be bridge players to get you to where you want to be. Don't just do quick patchwork and reactionary moves and then end up if they end up in the middle of the pack and they're not quite good enough to make the playoffs, but they're not so bad that they can get the #1 draft pick, I'm going to be choked. And that's what this kind of a move kind of can make happen. Anyways, yeah, I welcome any and all comments because I am lost for any kind of comment about where the Canucks are going, where the Canucks are at. I could project a lineup. I could state Jake Virtanen should play in the American League, not because I don't like Virtanen, but because I want him to develop to be a top 6 power forward in the NHL and not play fourth line role minutes. There was an interview on Bob McCown I watched with, I believe it's Michael Ryan, who was the first-round draft pick of Montreal, born in Newfoundland. And he was drafted as a goal scorer, but the role the coach wanted him to play was as a fighter/fourth liner. And he never really made the NHL. And it was because his role changed. Virtanen last year came in as a guy who was used to being the go-to top 6 goal scorer and played a different role. And it's dangerous to have guys play different roles in professional leagues than they did in the juniors because they can fall into it and just end up being that role player forever. There are plenty of players who scored tons of goals, tons of points, great players in junior, and then when they make the NHL, they're role players. And it's not that there's no need for role players. Of course there's a need for role players. But I don't want Virtanen to be one of those guys. I'd like to see him develop into a top 6 forward. So, I mean, if he plays in Utica this year, he gets first line minutes. You'd have to think he gets a first or second line minutes. Has an opportunity to score 30 goals. Has an opportunity to play for a pretty decent team. And get some confidence. So when the Canucks do call on him, he doesn't come up as a role player. He comes up as a top 6 forward who's used to being a top 6 forward. That's kind of the Detroit model. That's kind of what Detroit does. And if Canuck fans would like to see the Canucks develop prospects like Detroit does, that's what you got to do. You've got to stop worrying about immediate gratification from prospects and saying, well, they're good enough to play in the NHL, so therefore just let them play. Even if it's fourth line minutes, it's fine. Because it's a slippery slope. Anyways, maybe I'll dig up some evidence of that. Guys who were big in junior and then petered out in the NHL. And maybe they became good role players and captains, and maybe they played long NHL careers, but they were never the offensive force that they could have been because of the role they played in the NHL. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I will be back to do another video before the end of today. My holidays have now started. I'm very happy about that. But my body is so tired. It's like, oh, thank God it's the weekend. Oh, you're on vacation? Oh, I'm putting you to sleep. Like, my brain is just like, it's ready to just sleep for the next 20 hours. But thank you for watching. And Shadow, thanks you for watching. Don't you, Shadow? Hey? Do you want to say thank you? Wave a paw. Wave a paw. What? Yes, you're a good kitty. Yes, you're a good kitty.